So if people are looking for help, I mean, if they're feeling anxious or depressed or have any issues at all, what can they do?
Well, most people will immediately think, I'll go and see my GP. If you go and see your GP, there's two things that you'll probably be offered. One is you'll probably be offered antidepressants, and the other is you'll be offered counselling. Increasingly over the last few years, with the improved access to psychological therapy, or IAPT, that counselling will be a particular type of counselling, and that is CBT, or cognitive behaviour therapy. Cognitive behaviour therapy is it's one of the schools, one of the types of counselling out there, and of course there are many types. For some people, CBT works. For others it doesn't, because it just doesn't suit who they are as a person. But it's offered as this is the most cost-effective therapy that's on offer, and so that's what you'll get through the NHS. What people don't tend to know is that there are many options out there. There are many counsellors and psychotherapists who have trained for a significant period of time. Counsellor talking 2 to 3 years, psychotherapist 4 to 6 years, who are in private practice. So just like you would go and see a chiropractor, just as you would go and see a physiotherapist privately rather than on the NHS, so you can go and see a counsellor or a psychotherapist. So if someone wants help, there are many ways of finding therapists, counsellors and psychotherapists, as well as other alternative practitioners. And that's through the internet is the greatest resource. If you Google counselling or Bing or any of the search engines, counselling and the name of the town, nearest town to you, you will find lists. There's a thing called the Counselling Directory. The British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy also have a Find a Therapist page. The United Kingdom Council for Psychotherapy have a Find a Therapist page. The British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy Find a Therapist page doesn't list every counsellor, every qualified, and then every qualified or accredited counsellor. It only lists those counsellors who have paid to go on the list.
Right.
So do bear that in mind, that there are lists out there that people have to pay to advertise on. And so it's always worth doing a wider search. By all means, look at the Counselling Directory, look at the pages on the BACP and UKCP website, but Google counselling in your area. Look in the local paper. Look in the yellow pages.
If they don't belong to one of those registers, how do you know that you're going to get somebody who's properly qualified and who's going to do the job as best they can for you?
Most qualified, well, I think every qualified therapist, whatever therapy they're offering, will belong to a regulatory body. Because you have to work by a code of ethics. You have to have a particular way in which you work. And that code of ethics is there to protect the client and to protect the therapist. And it's all about do no harm. How do we best work with the client? And the most important thing is that part of that code of ethics is about safety, but it's also about being able to make a complaint if things go wrong. So if you find a therapist who is not a member of a regulatory body, then you maybe should be thinking twice about whether you want to go to see them.